Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
It is time for another daily dose of dismal Disney. Disney doesn't want to pay their taxes.
Again.
It's like imagine that.
An annual event now. It's been going on for like 8 years that every year Disney sues the tax assessment office because they're mad and said that their taxes are excessive. And they've done what they could to get it changed. I know one time they had one method, which we're going to talk about later in the article, that they completely got banned from that. Now it's been used in other states, but they banned from their use because they didn't like it. And then there was another time where they tried to argue that things like their brand shouldn't be counted in the assessment because it's an intangible. Meanwhile, the same thing like their brand is why they justify charging the ridiculous prices they charge for their hotels and such because it's a Disney brand. But then you can't tax on the Disney brand. Only they can.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. It is kind of a conundrum here because Disney does claim that the reason they charge a premium for their hotels is you're paying for the Disney experience and the Disney brand and yada, 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 which is why their hotels cost like 3 times as much as other people's hotels.
And this comes after they put out that big thing saying about, here's a study about how much money we bring tax dollars to Florida because we're one of the top taxpayers in Florida. But we don't want to pay our property taxes, which actually helps things like schools and roads and infrastructure for where their cast members could use, but no, they don't want to pay that.
They won't pay their damn
taxes. We're one of the top supporters of Florida. We don't want to pay our fair share of taxes, though.
So we'll talk about this. We'll talk about Disney's tax situation. It is very taxing. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Go out to shopclownfish.com. We have reopened the campaign second chance offer for Crimson Wren and previously on Clownfish TV graphic novels. If you missed them the first and the second time around, now we have a second time. And these books are actually in stock and ready to ship. They'll ship within a few days of you ordering them. So thank you so much for the support. We sold quite a few between this and the campaigns. Very cool. So let's talk about this. Disney World is suing over excessive property taxes again.
Yes.
Coming from pirates and princesses.
So they're doing a lawsuit because they're saying that the taxes are excessive. Again, it's getting old. It's like it's annual event at this point every year. So they said that in their lawsuit, they one of the things they claim is they want appropriate appraisal methodology used. So they get the outcome they want. And again, they were mad about the Rushmore method that was used a few years ago. And they removed the Rushmore method as being used in the area because Disney had a shit fit. But now they want another appropriate appraisal methodology that gives them what they want. And then they said they want the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District and the tax collector to cancel the original bills and reissue new bills with the reassessed amounts. And they want them to pay for all the court costs, too, because Disney had to sue them because they weren't fair the first time. Let me ask you this. If Disney's going to sue every year because it's not fair, and they always get their way, of course they're going to sue again. But wouldn't you think it'd be cheaper if they were really in the wrong for the tax assessor's office to just actually assess it at the rates or with the appraisal methodology they agreed to that they ended up using the previous year? But every year they fight it again and claim about the methodology. So like they want it changed annually and they want to only pay what they want to pay. And each year they get away with it.
Well, I mean, look, so my little brother, when we were kids, he would always look at like a piece of pie or a pizza or something, and he would make a big deal out of it. And he would look at it and he'd go like, which piece is the biggest?
Then you walk in and take it.
And yeah, he would.
That's how it works, boy.
Yeah, no, he would, but he would like agonize. He would say it right out loud, like, "Which is the biggest?" And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." So
I know which brother it is too, probably.
Yeah, he would take the biggest slice. Disney's the other, like, which method is the cheapest?
But like if they had to redo it the year before and the year before that and the year before that with a different methodology. And that's established. If they're using that methodology this year, they're not liking that again. I mean, it's like you can't win other than give them what they want. So why don't you just ask them what they want to pay and call it a day? Because I don't think they want to keep tying it up in the courts because it takes longer for the taxes. They need to pay for court fees and everything else. It just makes the most sense that if it was going to be tied up in court anyway, then they go with whatever they went with last time that they actually reached an agreement on. But I think that's what they're doing, and Disney's just going to challenge it every year.
Yeah.
Because ideally they don't want to pay anything. But you know what? You gotta. And all that money usually goes back into things like the public schools and infrastructure and the libraries and sometimes medical assistance and things like that. But they're people use because, they had to take food banks when they got let go from Disney World and they didn't give a shit. So I have the values that were determined by the tax assessor.
Okay.
There's two values. There's a just value, which is like the market price, and then there's the assessed value, which is what the tax assessor assesses it at, which is usually, in this case, lower.
Yes.
So we have the different values for there's a lawsuit for each one of these. They filed a lawsuit for each one. So they're filing against Epcot, the Epcot Wellness Center, Magic Kingdom, the Magic Kingdom parking lot, the Magic Kingdom bus drop-off and boat docks, the Transportation and Ticket Center,
oh my God.
Disney's Hollywood Studios, Disney's Animal Kingdom, Blizzard Beach, Typhoon Lagoon, Magic Kingdom Car Care Center, the Wedding Pavilion, Indy 200, and Fantasia Golf. They're disputing all of these.
Oh my God. So it's interesting though, like just how big of a difference there is with Epcot. I mean, we're talking 721 million versus 646
million. They're already giving them a lower amount. They're assessing it on a much lower amount.
Yeah, so that's a pretty huge.
So the just value determined by appraisals is putting it at far above what they're actually assessing them on. They're probably giving them a lower rate to try to shut them up, and then they're still complaining about it.
Yeah, well, they're going to. They're going to drag it out as long as they can, because longer they can drag it out. If they're still arguing about it now, I don't know for 100%, but I would guess if they're still arguing about it, they can kick the can down the road and not have to cough up any money.
No, what they do is they have a shit fit, they get their own way, they get a lower tax assessment, and then they pay that.
Okay.
So every year this happens annually. It's annually they're doing it. They might not pay it that year, but every year they sue over their excessive property taxes every year. Well,
it's not like Disney's raking it in at the box office now, so they gotta save money wherever they can. We don't feel like, we feel like making billions of dollars, and we just don't want to pay taxes.
But you know what makes me mad?
How's that work?
Why does anybody else get to do that? You know what?
I know, right?
I don't think that this is right on my house, so I'm not paying it. I'm going to sue you every year.
Every year I'm going to complain about it.
You know what? The whole brand thing, that still gets me every time. And this was from a couple years ago when they tried to argue that their brand was an intangible. I think that was part of the Rushmore method, that it was an intangible thing and it shouldn't be counted in property value, as they use their brand as their reasoning for why they charge you like 4 times as much as other hotels in the area.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's like, I'm tired of the double standard.
So... I do remember this coming up. I'm like, wait,
it happened again. It's every year.
Isn't this the same story? 8
years in a row now.
8 years in a row they've done this stuff. So I can totally see them doing it. So it's interesting though. Let's since we're talking about taxes in Disney, this came up too. This was I
didn't see this.
Yeah, this was like a week or two ago. This comes from Click Orlando. Reedy Creek failed. Hundreds of district employees owe over $2 million in back taxes.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Disney.
Oh, because they got the Disney passes and discounts?
Yes. So the passes and discounts went unreported on employee wages.
The thing is, that wouldn't be the employee's fault.
No, but it said, the employees of the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District, formerly known as Reedy Creek, owe over $2 million back taxes, according to a report. The RCID was a special taxing district that oversaw the Disney company's property.
Disney pretty much ran everybody.
They ran everything, right? On November 28th, the CFTOD wrote a letter to the IRS stating that 638 district employees hadn't paid their fair share of taxes over the past few years. No, they narked on.
But to this point, is CFTOD just deliberately going out of their way to lose any employees they have left?
It should be the CFTROLL.
I'm just like, at this point, people weren't happy with you. You took away benefits, and now you're doing this. They're all going to quit.
They said that Disney used to provide the district employees theme park passes and discounts when the firm prepared its payroll taxes, just as Disney did with employees. Mm-hmm. The duties were later brought in-house at the district, though these passes and discounts were still provided to current and retired employees. In addition, former district managers assumed that these passes and discounts didn't have to be reported as taxable benefits. However, it was discovered in 2021, just anonymously, I'm sure, just like they just happened to catch it themselves. In 2021, the passes and discounts were supposed to have been reported to the IRS. The leaders were distracted by rumors about the district's dissolution by lawmakers.
Wait.
We were just so distraught we forgot to report about $2 million in perks.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this sounds like.
Yeah. So look, this is starting to make a lot more sense now, isn't it? Because remember that Disney whistleblower Sandra Kuba said that Disney was, doubling up on passes and giving people passes and having the free passes count as like revenue and not as perks. And so Disney does a lot with free shit. They get away with a lot with free shit, and they do this with influencers too. I don't know how they account for like free trips or free this or whatever as part of the marketing expense, but yeah, they give away a lot of free stuff.
Well, the IRS wasn't investigating the district. CFTOD officials explained they decided to preemptively let the IRS know about it in good faith. So they weren't getting investigated.
They narked on them. They narked on them.
The CFTOD's acknowledgement of the error, coupled with the proactive steps taken to rectify the oversight by seeking professional assistance, underscores its commitment to ethical conduct and compliance with the tax statutes and regulations. The letter says that over $2 million potential taxes were owed between 2020 and 2023. And they were filing the necessary tax forms to fix the problem. But issuing these corrective forms to affect all employees would cause too much confusion. So they asked IRS to issue a closing agreement to resolve the tax concerns.
Yeah. So, Tracy Borden, a former district employee who left in July, told News 6 she believes this is an effort to make the previous district administration look bad. Yes, it absolutely is. They're going to be like, look at all the perks these guys were getting. They weren't reporting it on their tax forms either. They're getting all kinds of perks from Disney. But please do tell us, how Disney wasn't actually running it. Well,
then they're saying the current administration didn't make them look bad, whatever. But the thing is, they weren't paying their taxes, or they weren't told they had to.
Yeah. So this is the certified public accountant, Jeff LaRue, explaining why any sort of income a person receives is taxable unless there's a special rule that says otherwise. Reedy Creek failed to do what was needed to be done the first time around. He said any compensation you give to an employee, anything you give to an employee beyond de minimis amounts has always got to be reported as wage-type income.
Is the new board covering the taxes? Is that what's going on? Are they trying to make arrangements to get it covered so everybody's free of it? Or were they aren't saying?
Sounds to me like they're wheeling and dealing with the IRS.
Trying to get it, settled?
Yes, that's why I think it's probably going to be a settlement. They're probably going to settle with them. But yeah, so there's a lot of that's just for a couple of years. Can you imagine how many decades of perks probably went unreported? And there's nothing the IRS can really do about it now because there's probably the records of because I think you have to keep records 5 or 10 years.
I don't know.
And I think at that point it's just whatever. So yeah, look, and Disney writes off a lot of shit. Sometimes they'll write it off 2 or 3 times,
Well, that's what the accusations were. So.
Yeah, I think Disney needs to be. I think they need to be audited big time. But it's all coming to a head.
But they pay more. They almost pay more taxes. They're like one of the single biggest employers in Florida, and they pay more taxes than anyone. And we are Florida, man. We are Florida, and we are you owe
Florida,
us.
man.
You owe us. Yeah, I know. You owe us all because we made Florida what it is, and we pay all our taxes except for property taxes. So we don't want to pay those.
Yeah, right.
Again for the 8th year.
Yeah, I don't think they're paying their fair share. Just call me crazy. But anyway, we're going to wrap this up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.